And here we go. We got the boys setting up. Anything? Okay, a couple of guys on the chat. Anything you'd like me to talk about as we get as the guys are setting up? They're still kind of pulling everything out. I will give you a list rundown here in a moment or two. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have the lists in front of me now. They're rolling for initiative. Looks like Brendan won the initiative. I will find out momentarily if he chose to select it. Now, Brendan is running a list that a lot of people might feel is weak in the current meta, and that is it's a triple X-wing list. But he's done really well at local store championships, and I'm excited to see him play it out. He's running Wes Jansen with Veteran Instincts and R3A2 to start. That is making him makes Wes Jansen pilot skill 10. And that's really important against a lot of lists nowadays, especially because he has R3A2, and that is able to shut down a lot of high pilot skill ships like Han Solo and particularly Phantoms like Whisper. Gives them a stress early before they can decloak out of the way. He also has Luke Skywalker with Veteran Instincts, who will also be firing at pilot skill 10. And Luke Skywalker has an unusual astromech R5P9 from the Rebel transport. That astromech allows him to spend a focus at the end of the combat phase to recover a shield. And that brings us to his last ship, Wedge, with Predator and R2D2. Wedge's ability allows him to reduce the defender's agility by 1, so he tends to do a lot of damage. He also has Predator, which gives him a free reroll and an unmodified or an actionless attack, quite potentially. And R2D2, which most players will know, R2D2 allows you to recover a shield after performing a green maneuver. So he has one X-wing that is going to deal out stress early in the turn, and two X-wings that are able to recover damage slowly, and that can certainly add a lot of durability to the classic ship from Star Wars. We also have James. He's he's also known as the Tabletop General of www.tabletopgeneral.com. He's playing a list that he calls Cloaks and Dagger. Cool thing about this list is it has beaten me many times. He's done very well in local store championships. He got to the top 8 here at FCB, and he has a really unusual Phantom list. It's unusual that because he's playing the lowest pilot skill Phantom. It's a pilot skill 3, the Sigma Squadron pilot. He has 2 of them, each one with Stygium particle accelerators, so he gets a free evade each time he cloaks or uncloaks. And he also has sensor jammers on each of them, which, if you don't know, it converts an incoming attack die to a focus that cannot be re-rolled. This focus, if James is able to get his third ship nice close into range 1, his third ship is Carnor Jax, who denies you to the ability to perform focus or evade actions or to spend focus or evade tokens. So Karnor is kind of there to flank and to ensure the durability of those phantoms. Okay, they just shook it off. Nice friendly handshake there, and dials are going down. James got his dials on the table pretty quickly. There, he might have a pretty solid. He might have a solid plan. I'm not. Don't. We'll see how it plays out. Kind of a dense asteroid field near the top of the table, and down here at the bottom of the screen, a little bit looser. I just confirmed with Brendan. Wedge is the X-wing that's out in front. Both his X-wings just took a 4 forward. Directly behind him is Luke, and out to the side at the top of the screen is going to be Wes Jansen. The two Phantoms, they took a 2-turn to their right and then immediately cloaked. As you can see, they have evade tokens. The Stygian Particle Accelerator gives them a free evade after performing a cloak action. Right here is just kind of preparing for the Alpha Strike, lining up trying to get the first shot, the best first shot you can against your opponent. Karnor is definitely breaking free of those Phantoms, trying to likely come around behind or to the side of the X-Wings. Yeah, so I was just curious as to how far behind you are seeing the video and hearing me talk. I'll try to stay off the keyboard from now on. I was just curious. We're kind of in a beta stage going forward, getting everything sorted out so we can do this a lot more often, and I hope we get a lot of people tuned in. 16 people is I think that's pretty great considering we've been on the air for less than 15 minutes. So big hand to everyone that's already here. Those Phantoms down at the bottom, decloaked forward. They got their free evade and then inched forward a little bit more. They took their evade actions. The X-Wings seem to be banking in to start making the first shots, probably the next turn. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this match plays out. Warwolf CDL. This is a really unusual Phantom list, but it's performed very well. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it has rocked me 3 different times. I've played 3 different lists against this squad, and I can't crack it. Brendan has actually beaten him before with a very similar list to this. But Brendan is the local guy who loves his X-Wings, and he always plays a really classic list of X-Wings and B-Wings, or just X-Wings, or maybe X-Wings with a bandit thrown in. He did really well at a store championship this past weekend with this exact list, and I'm curious to see how he fares against James's Cloaks and Dagger.
Does it sound okay?
Mr. Bossman, the owner of FCB, is coming in and asking me if the sound's okay. You guys hear me all right? Is there interference or anything?
Pop this out. See if you can get like that and pop out. Pop out, and this way you can minimize the browser to see the chat window and see your feed. Like if you minimize that, you'll be able to see it without lag. And you'll be able to, more importantly, you'll be able to keep that on this. If you turn the face cam on, they can see you.
I don't want them to see me.
Okay.
We good. Hey, B-Dog. Somebody called me B-Dog. They know what's up. Oh, Lambot. It's going to be... Lambot is this guy named David who loves to make fun of me.
David's our TO.
Yeah, he's the tournament official at our usual tournaments, or our local tournaments here at the shop. Okay, interesting move here. Phantoms are decloaking forward, and it appears to be going in for the kill. Free evade actions after decloaking, and the first one took a focus. The second one took a focus as well. And then Carnor Jax probably, I'm going to guess, making a hard turn into the fight. So he has the Mr. Tabletop General on the right. Has these X-Wings covered from 2 angles, but as you can see, the X-Wings have not moved yet. Carnor Jax boosts to his right to, I'm guessing, hopefully still have a shot on those X-Wings when they inevitably move forward. Nobody cares if you're stuck at work, David. Anyone who's watching, feel free to pose any questions. I'm monitoring the chat. Would be happy to interact with you. Thanks, Soul Crusher. We're working on ways to improve it. The goal is to have ways to even show you dice rolls more clearly during the live stream. That's easy. That's an easier thing to do after the video's already made. It's more difficult to do while the stream's going. Oh, my fiance just said that she popped onto the stream, so I'd like to just give a shout out to her. My fiance Vicky, who I'm marrying about this time next year. She probably just popped on to hear that, and then is going to go do something else with her life. And the dice are rolling. That is a stress. Wes used R3A2 to deal a stress to that Sigma Squadron pilot, and rolled some damage. Looks like it's hitting a crit, and a hit and an evade and a focus are rolled from that Phantom. So that is one. Yep. Then chips one shield off the Phantom and cancels one damage. Now Luke is going to be attacking the same Phantom at range 2. James uses Sensor Jammer to change one hit to a focus. And then Brendan uses a focus to change both of those hits back. James rolls one evade and takes another shield damage. Now Wedge is going to take his range 1 shot at PS9. Holy crap! It looks like 2 hits and 2 crits from here. One becomes a focus due to Sensor Jammer. Brendan is tapping fingers anxiously. He decides to keep it with 1 and 2. One evade comes off the Phantom, and that is 2 crits. Unfortunately, I can't see what those crits are, but it doesn't matter because that Phantom is toast. Matchstick Man, yeah, that is something we are definitely working on. Another thing we're working on is getting this glare off the screen, where the table is placed where it is due to necessity, basically. So we're going to have to take some lights out of the ceiling, more than likely. Carnor Jax is shooting at Luke, I believe. 1 hit and 1 evade from the X-Wing. And then that Sigma Squadron pilot measuring range to Wedge. Find out if it's range 1, depending on how many dice he rolls. That is 1 hit and 3... No, I'm sorry. That's going to be 2 hits after focus. Well, 1 evade from Wedge. So Wedge is going to take a shield. Two damage on Wedge. Excuse me. My chat window is covering up part of my screen. I'm sorry. Okay. So, he was the Phantom that was remaining on the table. Soul Crusher X was at range 2. The other Phantom right in front was just barely inside range 1. So Wedge was able to take a range 1 shot, but unfortunately that Phantom was destroyed before it was able to fire. So there's an interesting thing here. Or interesting outcome here. James has the X-Wing surrounded from 2 sides, but he can only move forward, whereas both of these other ships can probably maintain arc. So we'll see exactly how it goes. James, with the intelligence agent on that last Phantom, forces Luke to reveal a dial. Looks like that would have been one straight, I believe. And then that Phantom turns to block in turn and takes a cloak action. Carnor Jax banks in. He might bump into Luke. I believe he actually fits. Yeah, the Matchstick Man. The interesting thing about these Phantoms is they're Sigma Squadron pilots that are really built out defensively. Carnor Jax target locks Wedge and focuses up. Now we're going to see where these X-Wings go. Looks like a 4K. Stress on Wedge. Stress on Luke. Ooh, that's going to give Biggs 2 huge range 1 shots on the side of that Phantom. Luckily, he was cloaked with an evade token. So we'll see how that Phantom fares. He's going to take a nice barrage of fire from these X-Wings. Wes actually, he wasn't able to 4K because he had a stress. He is going to bank in and hopefully avoid fire from Carnor Jax, and he does because he bumps. So he won't be able to shoot at Carnor Jax, but Carnor Jax can't shoot back at him. And what we have 26 streamers are currently watching, and that is, I think that's a pretty big deal. I really appreciate everyone for tuning in, and I hope you have a good time. It's going to be a range 1 shot from Wedge, a reroll via Predator, and completely evaded by the Phantom. Wait, that wasn't what happened, and I apologize. Werewolf CDL, I agree. That Phantom is about to take some hurt. Look, he didn't take any shields off the Phantom. It appears the Phantom got through that barrage unscathed, and that's going to be a pretty big deal for James here. Carnor takes a range 2 attack against the X-Wing in the front, which is... Or actually, he took a shot against Wedge. And Wedge takes another damage. Looks like Wedge is currently out of shield and has 1 damage to hull. Both the other X-Wings are untouched. James is unfortunately down a ship, which I forgot to update. So I'm going to total up the cost of that ship. And there, the score at the top of the screen should reflect the current score. Brendan has not lost a ship, but James has lost a Phantom. It's a Sigma Squadron pilot worth 25 points with Stygian Particle Accelerator, Sensor Jammer, and Mara Jade. Dials are going down. Brendan got set early. James is still tinkering. It looks like his Phantom dial's down. It's trying to figure out where to go with Carnor Jax, probably to not continue taking damage. You're absolutely right, the handsome Nick. James's list is designed to break up formations and then swat ships like flies after they're separated from their comrades. Phantom chooses to remain cloaked. He takes a 1 turn and a focus action. And it looks as though Carnor Jax revealed a 4 straight to clear his stress. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a 2 bank. Moving to hopefully block one of those X-Wing attacks. And Carnor Jax pushes the limit to take a focus and an evade. Now the X-Wings reveal. Wedge is in the back at pilot skill 9. He will take a 1 straight and bump into the back of Luke. Luke attempts to perform a 1 bank and get out of there. However, his final landing position would be on top of James's Phantom, which forces him back onto Carnor, which forces him back, and he only moves slightly. Looks like Wedge is still going to have a range 1 shot on Carnor Jax, and Luke is going to have a range 1 shot on the Sigma Squadron pilot. And Wes Jansen at pilot skill 10 takes a 4K. Looks like he's going to have a range 2 attack on the Phantom. Luke takes his first attack at pilot skill 10. That's a lot of stuff. Looks like it's going to be 4 hits. 1 becomes an eyeball. James spends an evade token and takes 1 damage off of the Phantom. The Phantom is now down 1 shield. Now Wedge takes his range 2 attack on the Phantom. Two hits. And evaded completely. Carnor Jax will now take his range 1 shot at Wedge. Looks like 2 hits. He's going to reroll 1 to make it 3 hits. And Carnor Jax rolls 1 evade, spends an evade token, and takes 1 damage. Well, good call, David. Yeah, I'm commenting with the video as it's happening. I'm not sure if you are hearing my voice live or as the video is actually streamed. The video is actually, it appears to be about 20 seconds behind what I'm actually seeing here on the screen. And I hope that my voice syncs up correctly. Handsome Nick is saying that his match is up. Dials are going down for the next turn. James makes a quick dial adjustment. Probably took a look and reminded himself he has 2 stress on Carnor Jax right now. L. Mike Fields, you sound suspiciously like a guy that I played at Georgia Regionals last year. It was a really great game. I was playing a Rebel Swarm versus Mike's Cat Scarlet, Turfineer, and TIE Fighter complement. Okay, first ship to activate is James Sigma Squadron pilot. He takes a decloak to his left, excuse me, down the screen. And will perform a 1 turn, likely in hopes to block and deny a shot on from Wes Jansen. And he takes a focus action. Yes, Wedge was destroyed in that last attack, and I apologize for not commenting on that specifically. I myself am still practicing the whole commentating situation. But Wes is cleared, and I'm going to update the score to reflect that. Wes Jansen takes a 1 bank, runs into the back of the TIE Phantom. And Luke will take a 4K maneuver. I agree with you, Nick. Carnor takes a nice turn to put a rock between him and a potentially pretty punishing shot from Luke. Don't make fun of me, Soul Crusher. It's my first time. I probably shouldn't say that on live TV, though, don't you think? But yeah, you'll be hearing from me a lot more often. I'm going to be coordinating the streams going forward. I won't always be the commentator, but I'm kind of taking over this. I'm taking over the Twitch stream for X-Wing for the shop here. Wes Jansen takes a range 2. At Carnor Jax. Carnor Jax takes no damage, but he did take another stress because of R3A2. I don't know what Super Bowl-like sounds like, Soul Crusher X. Okay. Dials are going down, ladies and gentlemen. Dials are on the table, and we will momentarily find out what these expert X-Wing players are going to... All right, I'm not feeling that. But everything I just said in my going nuts was true. The interesting thing here, the only ship that's not stressed is the TIE Phantom. Both the X-Wings have at least 1. Wes Jansen has 2 stress, and Carnor Jax also has 2 stress. James causes Luke or Wes Jansen to reveal his dial to him, and he takes a 4K maneuver. Something that oh yeah, it's 4K is a big deal on a Phantom. That's not something you see very often, and it really baffles me. Like, that's one of the things that baffled me when I played against James with this list. He can freely K-turn with those Phantoms because his action economy is not nearly as valuable to him. So he takes a 4K. Luke, Carnor Jax takes a 2-turn around that rock to clear a stress, and Luke takes a 2-turn to get nice up and close and personal with Carnor Jax. Luke was stressed. He did not clear stress by taking that maneuver. The handsome Nick, you're totally right. It's not something that you see often, and then it tends to confuse players when it happens. Wes takes a 1 bank. God, there's a lot of stress on the table right now. Every ship on both sides has at least 1 stress. Brendan's measuring so that Wes can take an attack on a Sigma Squadron pilot. I'm going to call range 2, but we'll see what they decide. Oh, it's absolutely range 1. And here comes 4 dice from Wes Jansen. He takes a stress to give the Sigma Squadron a stress via R3A2, his astromech droid. That was a mistake there. He rolled 3 dice when he should have rolled 4. So that's 3 hits. And he okay. That was actually Luke attacking Carnor Jax. Carnor takes 1 more damage. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I can't see any better than you can. I'm not in the room with them, so I'm doing my best. And Carnor Jax, I'm sorry, probably the TIE Phantom puts 1 shield off takes 1 shield off of Wes Jansen. I'd like to point out there are 4 ships, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stress tokens out on the table. Stress is being had by all. I hope they're not sweating as much as I am, being on live TV and whatnot. For anyone who just tuned in, welcome to FCB Comics and Games Twitch stream of X-Wing League play. Our first featured match tonight is live right now. It's been going since for about 30 or 40 minutes, since about 7:35-ish. We have Brendan's triple X-Wings, Luke Skywalker, Wes Jansen, and Wedge Antilles. At pilot skills 8, 9, and 9, or 8, excuse me, at pilot skills 9, 10, and 10, and against James's list that he calls Cloak and Daggers. That's 2 Sigma Squadron pilots and Carnor Jax. James has a pretty popular blog called The Tabletop General. You can find that at www.tabletopgeneral.com. And in fact, you will see from January 10th, he has a pretty detailed post just talking about his list. Each of his Sigma Squadron pilots has a sensor jammer and a Stygian particle accelerator. The one that is currently still on the table has an intelligence agent, allowing him to see one of the rebel ship's dials each turn. Okay, Carnor Jax took a 2 bank and cleared a stress token. Looks like Luke did a 2 turn and kept 2 stress. Wes Jansen takes a 1 bank and clears stress. And I just lied to you yet again. Wes is the one at the top of the screen, and Luke is the X-Wing down at the bottom. Phantom takes a range 2 shot. Or, I'm sorry, Carnor Jax took a range 2 shot onto Wes, and Wes took a shield. Phantom is now going to take a range 2 shot at Wes, down at the bottom of the screen. 1 hit. And lots of evades from Luke. He is currently on the only ship on the table that is untouched. And dials are going down again. Rebel ship dials go down fast. James leisurely puts a dial down next to his Phantom, locks his maneuver in. Interesting thing here, if you just tuned in, the TIE Phantom is going to be the first ship that reveals its maneuver, which is a pretty unusual thing. And in fact, the last maneuver he revealed was a 4K turn. Raise your hand if you've ever K-turned a Phantom. Sigma Squadron pilots are... James has proven that they are just as tournament viable as the Whispers and the Echoes of the world. He was stressed from having K-turn. He takes a 1 turn and maintains being stressed. Karnor Jax takes a 2 bank, clears a stress, waiting on actions from Karnor. He is going to barrel roll to his right. I'm guessing James wants to block that X-Wing. And Karnor will take a target lock on that X-Wing. That X-Wing, by the way, is Wes Jansen, who will attempt to perform a 2 bank and will run into Karnor Jax. Unfortunately, that means Wes won't be able to attack Karnor again this turn and give him another stress. Luke is now revealing his dial. From here, it looks like a 4K. It is. Now James Ayers, the tabletop general, is going to perform that 4K for Brendan. One of my favorite things about this game is the maneuver system's completely objective. So if you can't reach across the table, your buddy can do it. Your buddy can perform your maneuver, and you can't really cheat. That Phantom is going to take a range 1 attack onto Wes Jansen. James needs some hits here. Here we go. What do we got? What do we got? Let him out, James. Okay, I see 1 hit. And with 1 evade, oh no, it was 2 hits and 1 evade, so that puts a damage to Wes Jansen's hull. Damage check. Wes Jansen is down to 1 hull. He has 2 hull has taken 1 hull. He has 2 hull remaining. Luke Skywalker is untouched. Karnor Jax has taken 2 damage and has 1 hull remaining. And this Sigma Squadron pilot, the Phantom that you see on the table, has taken 1 shield. Okay, interesting thing here. We have 3 ships, 2 from one faction, 1 from the other, all facing the same direction, but all stressed. So they can't exactly K-turn to face each other. James uses Intelligence Agent to force Wes Jansen to reveal his dial. The Phantom takes a 3 straight, clearing that stress. And he will perform a Cloak action, which in turn allows him to receive a free evade action via Stygian Particle Accelerator. Karnor Jax is going to make a 2 turn to his right, clearing that stress token from pushing the limit last turn. And how is James going to handle this situation? That X-Wing could easily go one of 2 ways. He's going to barrel roll Karnor to the left, excuse me. Looking for a token, I believe. And he will boost Karnor to the left. Now, he did perform that maneuver knowing that Wes Jansen was going to take this 1 bank here. But he probably just wanted to turn around a little bit more and make absolute certain that he wasn't going to take any fire. Wes Jansen flies into the Phantom, meaning that he still can't attack this turn. And now Luke Skywalker is going to reveal a 4 straight and remain stressed for next turn. We'll see how. If we'll see if that puts him in range. Looks like he might be at the outer reaches of range 3 against that TIE Phantom. That is the combat phase, meaning Luke Skywalker at Pilot Skill 10 as the first shot, and that is, in fact, he is able to take a range 3 shot against the Phantom. And here we go. 3 dice are down. Looks that was a hit, a crit, and a focus. Sensor Jammer on the Phantom turned one of those to a focus, and then he spent his evade token to prevent the other damage. So that was a lobbed Hail Mary at a Phantom, and the Phantom got out of the way, no issue at all. Hey, I haven't seen any chat activity for a hot minute. You guys still watching? Feel free to pose questions or comment or make fun of me or what have you. Phantom forces Luke to reveal his dial. From here, it looks like a 4K. Not exactly sure. That's what I'm going to guess. Phantom takes a decloak to his left after seeing that maneuver. I'm going to guess he's trying to block the K-turn from the X-Wing, or at least get out of the way. Maybe not. He takes a 3 straight. Oh, I take 3K, excuse me. So he's trying to clear that X-Wing off the table before it can do any terrible damage. He will likely take a shot from the X-Wing. Yes, Twisted Leo got to it before I did. The Sigma has a sensor jammer, Stygian particle accelerator, and an intelligence agent. Thank you, Twisted Leo. I didn't see the question in time, but thank you, thank you, Droid Lover, for posing it. Rick 956. There will in fact be another featured match after this one. We're going to have a Decimator and TIE complement versus Triple X's and a B-wing, Triple X's and a Z95. That one should end. We have it scheduled for 8:30, but we're not gonna cut the match off early. So it'll be 10 to 15 minutes after this match is over. Thank you very much, Rick 956 and Droid Lover, for your questions. Checking range from Luke Skywalker and Wes Jansen. They are both out of range. Now the Phantom will take the only shot available on the table. That is, looks like 2 hits and 1 evade. Wes took a critical damage. Let me find out. I'm going to find out what that critical damage is. Players are telling me that is a stun pilot. If Wes Jansen bumps into a ship, he will sustain a damage automatically. If you've just tuned in, both lists are down 1 ship. One TIE Phantom was destroyed in the first volley, and then Wedge Antilles was destroyed turn or 2 after that. Right now it's pretty close. You'll see at the top of the screen, Brendan has 64 remaining, while James has 66 remaining. Very, very interesting matchup here. James's list has beaten me 4 different times, and I was playing 3 different lists, and I cannot crack this. I can't crack this double Phantoms in Karnor. The tactics for playing against these Phantoms are completely different than playing against any other Phantom. Phantom, by the way, is taking a 2 bank to clear that stress. And Brendan, he's our resident classic Rebel list player. He does very well with I wouldn't necessarily say simple lists, but I'm going to go with classic lists. He has 3 X-Wings here, various loadouts. He had Veteran Instincts on Luke Skywalker and Wes Jansen. He also had R3A2 on Wes Jansen, and he has a really unusual astromech, R5P9 on Luke Skywalker, which allows him to spend a focus at the end of the combat phase to recover a shield. You might ask why he didn't put R2D2 on Luke, and that's because Wedge had R2D2, but Wedge was unfortunately destroyed much earlier in the match. So he has a 3 X-Wing list, all shooting pilot skill 9 or higher. The Karnor Jax, the top of the screen, takes a 2 bank to clear stress and boosts in to hopefully get a shot on one of these X-Wings. He then takes a focus action. Wes Jansen takes a 4 straight and puts himself at range 1 of Karnor Jax, probably hoping to clear him off before he is able to return fire. And then Luke Skywalker takes a 1 bank into that Phantom, closing to range 1, clearing a stress, and taking a focus action. Warwolf CDL, you're totally right, and Wedge just makes himself a valuable target in this game. A lot of players use Biggs to protect him. Brendan has said repeatedly he doesn't need Biggs to win games with X-Wings, and I respect him because he's beaten me probably twice with a list very much like this. And that is Wes Jansen, range 1 on Karnor Jax. He rolls 3 hits, and that is 1 evade and 2 blanks, clearing Karnor Jax off the table. Now it's a Phantom versus 2 X-Wings. Luke Skywalker rolls on that Phantom. 4 hits. 2 focus results from James, and Phantom is off the table. That is the end of the game. Thank you very much for watching. It's 8:25 right now. We will return officially to play. We will return with another game in 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to say 8:40, but I'm going to see if I can get these players in here to come talk about their lists in the meantime. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'm going to see if I can get James to come have a chat with us. I'll do James first, and then Brendan. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. You just saw the end of that match. I'll try to review what I can remember. Brendan eventually cleared off James's Phantom with Luke Skywalker at range 1 in the last turn. That is Brendan putting his hand in my camera at the moment. So I guess I'll clear out, so they have a moment to clean up. But I will. I'm going to talk to James here in a moment, and then talk to Brendan. Do you guys have any questions for either of the players here? Please speak up. Anybody watching, send me something in the chat, and I'd be happy to field your question on the air with the players. Lambot 9000. Brendan eventually cleared off James's last Phantom, and they shook it out, and they're cleaning up right now. I'm gonna have the players come in and chat with us momentarily. Pretty good.
So I came up with a name. So you should just call it State of the Union, or Z95 State of the Union. Oh, his list.
Okay.
Z95 State of the Union. Or you can call it Dirty Z. Either one's
good. Just updated the stream there with the next match. Actually, I just lied to your face. I'm going to update it with the time. I'm going to say 8:45. We're going to have Chad and Kurt. Chad's going to play Commander Ken Kirk with some TIE fighters against Kirk's Triple X and a Z, a.k.a. State of the Union.
Do you want a list?
Yeah, if you can write your list down, it'd be easy. Yeah. I'm just waiting on the last game to get cleaned up, and then I'll come and I'll bring the players in here, ask them a couple of questions. If anybody watching the stream has a question for the players from the last match, please speak up. I'd be happy to field it on the air. Any questions for me? My name is Brandon. I'll be coordinating the streaming for X-Wing here at FCB going forward. We have a tournament this Saturday. We're beginning a quarterly competitive series of tournaments here at FCB. First of which is on Saturday. Streaming coverage will begin at 11 a.m. and we'll continue most of the day. Did I knock that off?
No, I did.
And we'll continue probably through late evening. I will be back on the air Wednesday night, February 18th, with 2 more featured matches. Thank you. I'll give you, while we're sitting here, I'll give you a rundown of one of the next lists we have. Chad, a local player here, is going to be playing a Commander Ken Kirk Decimator. He's running Ruthlessness. When attacking, you may reroll 1 attack to... no, I'm reading the wrong thing. I know that's not right. He's going to be running Ruthlessness on Commander Ken Kirk. That allows you to deal 1 damage to another ship at range 1 of your target. Darth Vader. That allows you... Thank you. Allows you to deal a critical damage after you perform an attack against another ship by taking 2 damage yourself. And Izani Zard gives you a free evade token at the start of the combat phase if you have no shields and at least 1 damage card. And also Rebel Captive. The first ship that declares you as a target of its attack receives a stress token. He'll also have Dark Curse, whose ability is when defending. It's a TIE fighter pilot whose ability is when defending. Ships attacking you cannot spend focus tokens or reroll attack dice. He can be quite the nuisance. We'll also have Kurt playing his State of the Union list with Wedge Antilles, with R2-D2 and Predator. Coincidentally, the same loadout we just saw with Wedge. Hobby Clivian, who's a PS5, with R3A2, the stressing droid that we just saw in the last match. Tarn Misen, who's a PS3 X-Wing, who can acquire a target lock whenever anyone declares him the target of an attack, with R7 Astromech, who can actually spend his target lock to re-roll incoming attack dice. However, I have James here behind me, aka the Tabletop General, and we're gonna. I'll pull up the face cam here eventually, and I'm just gonna ask James a few questions on the air. Thank you, fellas, for being patient.
Okay, this is a really short cord here and a really short mic. Okay, so now then, really short camera.
Short rundown on your list. First of all, how you came up with it, what have you.
Right, so I've been a fan of the Phantom since they were first released, but I never really liked how everybody always ran Whisper and Echo. It's, they're both great ships, but there had to be more to it. I never saw the Stygium used, I never saw the generics used, and I just wanted to find a way to make it work. So I kind of went through just looking at what could be equipped on there, and really it came down to the fact that we were playing a just casual game where we threw a bunch of random equipment on ships, and we happened to use the sensor jammer on a shuttle at one point, and it was so annoying to kill. And then I realized I could put that on a Phantom, and it pretty much forces you to take focuses to be able to deal consistent damage to them. So then you turn around and you use Carner Jax, who denies focuses, and suddenly you're not left with a whole lot of good options. Can't talk today. So my whole goal with the list is to take Carner Jax and just get up in the middle of the enemy force and be annoying. I don't care if he deals damage. I don't care if he ever gets a shot. And he can just really get in there and mess people's plans up. Then the Phantoms are what are there to really do damage. So Carner Jax, the whole time, he's going to be, just trying to survive and stay in close. It's going to be our Phantoms that are really the meat of the list, and they're great blockers. Mara Jade, which Brendan was able to clear very early, can absolutely clear a force by herself in a Phantom, just because once she gets behind you, you're stressed constantly. You're never turning around. You're never K-turning. Then the other Phantom is carrying an intelligence agent, so he's letting me know at all times, where's the enemy going? What do I have to do to block them? How do I get out of their arc? It doesn't matter if somebody has higher pilot skill. Like Brendan has always relied on veteran instincts on X-Wings to have the advantage and go hunting the higher Phantoms that can only get up to a PS9 for Whisper or 8 for Echo, so that they never know exactly where they need to end up. Intelligence agent tells me in advance where it needs to be, and I can put that Phantom safely out of harm's way, not having to worry anything about, guesswork or anything along those lines. I can just say, this is where I need to be for a great shot. This is where I need to be for, the safest defensive play. Am I going to get a shot this turn? Do I need to cloak? Do I need to evade? What do I need to do? Between the two, there's not a whole lot that they can't handle.
And then you mentioned you lost a Phantom pretty early. Did that make you nervous? You held your own pretty for a while there, and you cleared Wedge off like almost immediately after. So what were you thinking halfway through the game? I'm down a ship. He's down a ship.
Oh, I thought it was over as soon as I lost that first Phantom, but just because Brendan is a very strong player, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to clear Wedge. But I had to keep going regardless of what the current state of the game was, and especially performing live for the wonderful people out on the internet. You can't just give up on it, and so my thoughts were, okay, let's just keep chewing on it and see what I can do. And I've got Carner Jax in behind him. I've still got a Phantom that can dish out a decent bit of damage. The last time Brendan and I played was in the store championship here, and Mara Jade was able to go to work on those X-Wings. And just like I was referencing a couple of minutes ago, she just stayed in close. If she got a shot, she got a shot. If not, then not a big deal, but I'm going to keep you from turning around. You're going to be stressed. You're never going to K-turn. So losing her early, I had to sort of come up with a brand new plan as to how I'm going to deal with these X-Wings. And again, a lot of it was guesswork. It was trying to see what can I do to take one of them out of the game for a few minutes. Let's stay away from our... sorry, what was that? Okay, we've got some sort of like alarm clock or bomb or something. I don't know.
It might be a bomb.
Yes, boom.
One last question. Wes Jansen and your Phantom were nose to nose at the end, and he was able to pop you. If you were able to evade that attack, Wes only had 1 damage left. How do you think the game would have played out?
Oh, I think that the game would have dragged on for quite a bit longer, but 1 Phantom against 1 X-Wing, even though it's Luke and even though he's at full health, I'm okay with that. I'm very happy with that. There's a big edge to be gained in having a one-on-one matchup where you've got intelligence agent and you know where the opponent's going, yet you can react to that. You can barrel roll away into a shot. You can cloak when you know you're not getting any sort of shot and set up for a next turn. What really hurt there at the end was that I wasn't able to sort of take that free kill on Wes, because I thought that I was going to be able to get close enough with the boost from Carner Jax to be able to cause him to bump, take damage, and kill himself off. But I was just a little too short, and Brendan's dice finally caught up with us here.
Thank you, James. I appreciate you talking with us.
All right, thank you. And I appreciate you commenting on this and talking all nice about us. And
a couple of speed bumps, but I'm learning too.
Okay.
It's the first time. They're just things that I wasn't clear on what was going on, and I'm working on that. But thanks for playing. I'm going to have Brendan say a few words right now. Right after, we're having a technical difficulty here. We're hearing a weird beeping sound, and we're going to fix that.
Too.
Right. Okay. I'm going away now. Later.
Thank you. I'm going to have Brendan on the screen here in about 30 seconds. I'm sorry, gentlemen. We're hearing a beeping sound, and I'm going to kill my audio to fix it. Or just so it doesn't annoy you.
It was on him. James had it on him.
Is that you?
That was me with game timer.
So, funny story. James was keeping track of... James was keeping track of his game, and that was his own game timer going off. But here we have the victor, Brendan, standing behind me. And as the next game sets up, I'm just going to ask him a couple of questions. Thanks for coming on, Brendan.
Hey, thank you again, Brendan.
Funny. My name's Brandon with an A, and his name is Brendan with an E. So I hope you don't. We're not making a joke or anything. It just might be kind of confusing there.
All right. Well, how's it going?
You've played against James before. Your list was
Yes.
a little bit different, as I understand it, but
Yes.
it was exactly the same. What did you learn the first time that you brought to the table this time?
Okay. So during the FCB Store Championships, I took a list I call StressBot 4.0. It was a work in progress. It took a long time.